Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Powerhouse Podcast. I am Candy Bruin, your host, and it is absolutely an honor to have you here joining us today as we talk about leadership on multiple levels. As you know, it's a function of how you choose to show up, how you choose to serve others, and how you choose to take personal responsibility inside that space. And today, we're going to focus on why your health and wellness matters for you as a leader and how you're showing up in that space. So before I tell you more about her, let me first just say hello to my dear friend and just badass rock star who's joining us in the house, Dr. Tenesha Wards. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. And just so y'all know, this is a very special episode for the Powerhouse Podcast. We are launching this as this is some real-time information I want to make sure that I'm bringing out to all of you. And like I said, it's such a blessing and honor to be able to introduce you to Dr. Tenesha. So let me tell you a little bit about her background and why I'm so excited to be doing this with her today. Dr. Tenesha Wards is the owner of Infinity Wellness Center in Austin, Texas, and the Energy Recovery System online wellness coaching program. She is a holistic doctor who concentrates on women's hormone issues from pre-post menopause to infertility, fibromyalgia, exhaustion, burnout, and insomnia. She believes in the importance of treating the whole person and not just the symptoms. Love that. Thousands of women have found Dr. Wards after not seeing results with traditional practitioners, cookie-cutter programs, or expensive supplements. Her holistic approach to wellness means she specializes in finding the core root causes to conditions like chronic fatigue, chronic pain, and headaches. Drawing from her personal struggles with Lyme disease, autoimmunity, and Epstein-Barr virus is where she finds the fuel to pursue her passion, which is helping people heal. Again, thank you for being on the show, Tenesha. I love you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
We have recently been having some big conversations around what I'm going to call here, and be really just blunt and say epidemic, especially for women, working women, professional moms, corporate women, women who are out kicking ass, taking names. There is a epidemic right now around chronic fatigue and exhaustion and burnout. And so talk a little bit more about how you got to this point, and we'll get into more about what you do.
Yeah, first of all, you're absolutely right. It's almost a badge of honor right now to be busy and doing 1,000 things. And us as women, we take on more than we can often sometimes handle. And we are trying to keep up, right? As mothers, as wives, as leaders, as, all of those roles are at risk when we're exhausted. And I created this online program out of the need exactly of hitting burnout myself. To give a little history, I had Lyme disease as a teenager, which was definitely a very tough experience. I went from doctor to doctor, thought I was dying, quarantined in a doctor's office, and went a whole year undiagnosed, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. Joint pain, fatigue, fever, you name it. Unable to function. Well, long story short with that, I was able finally after a year to get the proper diagnosis, do the right things. We treated it naturally, which is amazing. A lot of Western medicine doctors at the time, and still in some states, including Texas, don't even recognize that as a condition. So I almost forced into a holistic route, which drove my path. And I got over that, and I went on to college, went on to grad school, became a holistic doctor, and then got pregnant. And after my pregnancy, going back to my clinic, I was doing a build out. I had 2 associate doctors. The bottom fell out. I was running a huge clinic, trying to keep up with a newborn, and, didn't want to show anybody that there was any sign of weakness. So just kept going, doing it all myself. I wasn't a single mother. However, my husband is a chef and can work nights and weekends. And so definitely a lot going on, and would not ask for help. Of course, I got this all. I like to use the analogy of it's like termites in a house. We have it, we've got it until it all comes crashing down. We got
Well,
it.
and isn't that the truth? And I love the fact that you called it a badge of honor, because I know, and many of you that have been following me for a while, you know a lot about my story, where I hit rock bottom at 35 in corporate in my career. And it was what I call, it's the third level of burnout, which is that black abyss that's beyond burnout, beyond the fumes, beyond, it's so far to a point where your body literally shuts down. And if many of you remember when I talked about the story, I had physiologically created a mass in my chest due to the fact that I was shallow breathing, that upper neck, hyperventilating, not breathing at all. And I think about this badge of honor that we as women carry in particular. And I don't care whether you're someone like me who's single and has just a fur baby, or someone like this, you know, kick-ass doctor who's growing her practice rapidly, has a husband who's out there growing his business, or you're a woman playing in corporate, or you're a stay-at-home mom. Whatever it might be, what happens is we find ourselves like spinning these 4,000 plates thinking we're super women.
Yeah.
And to your point, the fear of asking for help.
Yes.
What's the detriment? What's the detriment to us in just our beings and in our own state of health and wellness when we insist that we got it all?
Yeah, well, everything's at risk, right? You could lose your business, you could lose your position. For me, being in the field, I convinced myself it was just mom tired. This is what it feels like after having a baby. This is normal. This is, of course I'm tired. And it kept going. I'm going to pull out of it. When the build out of my new clinic is over, I'll have more time and I'll be, you know, less tired. When I get through this long week of patients, it'll be fine. Like I just kept telling myself and convinced myself that, yeah, I was just mom tired. I was just, you know, I just had a lot going on. It was going to lift, but then it didn't. It didn't lift. And I thought, oh my gosh, did the Lyme disease come back? Am I having what they call a flare-up or a recurrence? Had been suppressed for 2 decades. And so I had to start doing my own digging, because finally I was like, this isn't normal. This isn't normal. Tired. I'm not just busy. My body is shutting down. It is saying no more. And it didn't present in the way of a tumor, but it presented into, I'm so tired today. I don't feel like I can lift my head. Like a physical, the way I explain the fatigue of something like Epstein-Barr, that's what we found out after some lab testing I ran on myself. Epstein-Barr and an autoimmune disorder of the thyroid. My body was attacking its own thyroid. Thought my thyroid was public enemy number one. And I see this every day in clinic. And I again, just ignored it. Like it swept it under the rug. I got this. It's just, you know, in the best way I could describe the fatigue from something like autoimmunity or Epstein-Barr is it felt like I was walking through quicksand. Like I was so tired that my limbs hurt. And it got to the point where my husband was having to take a lot of the childcare over. And I'm hard-headed. I refused to stop nursing, which probably maybe could have helped with some of the energy. So they're just these, right? I can't let any of the plates go. I got to do this because it's good for this person. And so eventually he's like, something's wrong with you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So I did some digging, but the fatigue was physical, mental, emotional. It wasn't just, I got a lot going on today.
No, and what happens, and I think, first of all, thank you so much. I appreciate, this is one of the reasons that I do adore you. Not only are you helping women uncover this for themselves, but you are someone who has gone through this journey yourself. So it's not as if you're just a doctor out there as a practitioner trying to sell supplements or trying to get people to think of this woo-woo space or whatever nonsense we have created in our head as it relates to our own wellness. You are someone who has been in the trenches at every level with multiple ways your body has either tried to attack itself. And what I think people understand is, because we come up with these things like, and you said it multiple times, I thought I was just mom tired. You know what? I just got a heavy load in corporate. I'm just busting 80 hours a week. You know what? I just got to suck it up and grow. You know, whatever we tell ourselves, we don't realize what happens, whether it's a tumor, whether it's your joints, whether it's whatever's showing up in your body, at a cellular level, that things start to break down. Like your body is so responsive to the stresses and the anxiety and the things we feed it, the things we don't feed it. And that belief and that conditioning also starts to get into, you know, our DNA, so to speak, that we, and so I love the fact that you're sharing that. So let's move into a little bit where you're at right now. So why the energy recovery system now, and what does it do? Because you have a thriving practice. So why this space now for you, and what is it offering to those women who might be like, oh crap, that might be, because many of you might be going through a little shame storm right now. I'm just saying, because to what Dr. Tenesha said at the beginning, our biggest thing is we don't want people to know that we're suffering from these things. My biggest thing when I was in corporate was I can't let anyone know the wheels are falling off. Everyone thinks I'm a superhero. Everyone thinks I go out there and I kick ass, take names, and I got this all covered. The last thing I can have anyone, especially in a male-dominated field, was let them know that the wheels were coming off rapidly.
Yeah, you look weak. Yeah, absolutely. And the word you said, shame, I was going to say exactly that. I had this shame of how did I get here when I'm someone who helps people not get here and or recover from here? How did I get here? There was so much shame, like so much embarrassment and shame. Like, how am I so fatigued and there's an actual problem? And I missed it. Well, I missed it because I was trying to keep all the plates up, right? And I missed it because I was just looking forward. And like you said, in a male dominant world, right? Like I'm just going to the next goal, the next thing, the next person. And so I created this because I found that my reach here in Austin is only to Austin. And there are women suffering everywhere. And I've had for years people say, you know, my sister-in-law or my aunt in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, is going through something as well. And they don't have a functional medicine doctor. And they don't have anybody who can help them work through this to navigate. Like their doctor won't even run a thorough thyroid panel. They need help. They won't run their vitamin D levels. They don't have, you know, if they're playing, not to get off on a tangent, but if they're playing in the arena of the insurance game and they're playing in the, you know, well, they don't have enough symptoms. They're not sick enough to get those labs and to have somebody dig deeper. Can you help? And so I was helping some patients long distance anyway. But this is a program that you can truly do. A lot of it's modules online and then one-on-one video with me from the comfort of your own home or office, and nobody has to know. We're not going on to give you a diagnosis of chronic fatigue. We're not, you know, this is something you can totally handle and take care of on your own, at your own pace, really, and privately too. And so 2 things, a bigger reach, and for people to not have to walk into the doctor's office necessarily and admit, I'm freaking losing it, kind of thing.
Well, and that for me, I mean, first of all, because I know how impactful you are in the Austin region, and I know what you've done for people even remotely. So the fact that you're extending that reach, because I think there's so much opportunity for functional medicine to play a place, especially in light of our health, in my opinion, and not to do a tangent, but our healthcare system is not a healthcare system. It's not a wellness program. It's a pharmaceutical and insurance-based industry. It is not about healing people from the inside out. It's not about working through their mindset as well as, you know, what they're feeding themselves and understanding things around inflammation and fatigue and exhaustion and how all those things play together. And I love, the more I've learned about functional medicine, the more I've stepped in that space to do things for myself. I know the power of that personally. That's been a game changer. Food has been a game changer for me. Changing my diet, changing when and what I consume, getting rid of things that are creating unnecessary inflammation in my body, which for me, any excess inflammation is like my joints scream at me.
Yeah.
The other thing that I love that you talk about is the fact, and I think this, and honestly, my eyes are watering right now because this for me is probably why it's so important for me to have you on this show, and why right now, because I know with the women and men that I work with, but right now we're focused on the women. I know what a shame storm it is for them to honestly, openly admit they need help. And to be in a space where they can discreetly share their deepest fears, to share, really seriously, I did not realize I was going to get this emotional about this. When I think about especially in corporate, especially in that good old boys network and that big business, there is such a mindset of burn and churn, wind and grind, rack and stack, suck it up, buttercup, no pain, no gain. And if a woman shows up as a woman in any capacity, she's demonized. She's like shut down. She's deprecated all over. And
she's that girl. She's that girl that needs help.
She's that girl who has those hormones. It's a hormone thing. It's a this. It's a whatever. And what really hurts me is there's men who don't know how to support these women, who want to be good leaders in that space. And there's such a like interwoven shame cycle that's going on in this conversation around health and wellness that we're not giving ourselves permission to say, oh my God, my body is shutting down. It's attacking itself. I'm scared. And I show up and I give you everything I've got. And then I go home and have nothing for my family. And I close the bathroom door and I'm lying on the floor crying, or I'm medicating through food or alcohol or shopping or whatever other addiction. And so the fact that there's a safe, discreet space for women to feel like they can have this conversation and know that not only is somebody certified and qualified to hold them in this space, it's also somebody who has shared their journey with them. Tenesha, that's honestly, I mean, seriously, I'm blowing
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability there. To your point about the Western medicine model that we're in too, the other thing that scares people, if and when they can get over that shame and admit they need help and they go to their doctor, guess what they get? An antidepressant or an anti-anxiety med. And these women are not necessarily depressed. They're not necessarily suffering from anxiety. That may be a symptom of the chronic fatigue or the infection or whatever it is underlying.
Right.
They're just throwing a medication at it, covering up the symptoms, making numbers look good. Get back in the game, buttercup, like you said. Here's your anti-anxiety med, but it's never fixing anything. And it's the damage to the body, especially in something like autoimmune, the damage to the tissue is still happening and it's still there. And the minute they forget that medication, that pill one day, it's going to come back tenfold. And that's just not how we fix and then we heal people. It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah. And so can I ask, because I know we were talking about this even last night, we had some conversation around, really talking about how to get your message out there and how to connect with more women. And we talked about talking, because you have a 4-year-old daughter right now, right?
Yeah.
So would you mind sharing? Because I think I want women to hear this. I think this is so powerful. When you asked her what you do, what did she respond with?
So now I'm going to get emotional.
Because it just so hit me to the core when you sent me that message last night, knowing we were going to do this today. Yeah.
So my 4-year-old daughter, the one that almost killed me, God love her, but almost kills me, and that's why we're not having any more. Never underestimate what they pick up. I asked her, I said, hey, baby, what does mommy do? And she said, mommy helps people feel better so they can go back to work. And I said, yeah, that's what mommy does. Did not even think that she would think about people going back to work. That's amazing. But yes, I've had people come to me as low as I've had to take a medical leave to get my body back to just, I'm calling in sick 3 times a week. I'm about to lose my job. Right. To I've lost my business because I couldn't function. I mean, I was like, yeah, it's that simple. Yeah. Get people feeling back better so they can be better in the world, give their gifts.
Right.
Be there.
And that's what I want. That's why I want that to resonate for people. You help heal people so that they can go back to work, not work so that they can go back to the hustle and the grind, not so that they can further, deprecate themselves and put themselves in these holes. That's not what we're talking about and that's not what her daughter was talking about when it's letting people go back to work. Yeah. It's the work, to what Tenesha just said. It's your gifts. It's your passion. It's that space that says we're here on earth to do work, to do this meaningful, passionate, impactful, influential work. I don't care if it's in your home and you're a stay-at-home mom. I don't care if it's in your community. I don't care if it's in a business. I don't care if it's in your own company. Whatever it is, we've all been given a mission and a purpose to go out and do God's work, to do our work. And when I think about your daughter fully understanding at the age of 4 that what you do is to heal people so they can do their work.
Yeah,
how beautiful is that?
It was powerful. It was
Because how many of
powerful.
us feel like we're not connected to our work, right? That we feel like we're
Well,
working just to work, and it's that busy for being busy, and it's those 4,000 plates we're spinning.
well, into your work, if it is your job that's gotten you to the state where you can't lift your head or get out of bed, right? If it is, you're doing too much. Oh, did I lose you there? There we go. And if it is that, if it's your job, I tell people I can help your body to adapt in the stressful environment, and we can move forward. But if you're going to go back into a state that will trump that, that's when we have to look at your environment and your work, and are you doing your life's purpose? And that's where your work is so great and beautiful and pulls that out of people. But yeah, so it's twofold, right? What's all the factors that got you here, and what changes do you also have to make in the healing process? Like I focus on healing the physiology and the biochemistry. Let's get you back off the floor. Let's get I like to say, engines turning again, where you can make energy and ATP. But if you're going to fall right back into a place where you are not doing your work, where you're not fulfilled, you may be back. I have patients who have said things like, okay, my job's not changing. I work in this industry or tech or whatever it is. I'm on the phone with China at 2 a.m. I just need you to keep me upright until I can figure out what I really need to do, or, that kind of thing, which I'm like, okay, well, we need to figure out where you really need to be.
Right. And, it's interesting because I know with many of you that are, been on here and been following my journey for a while, and you're, beautiful, fans of the show, and you've been with me for a long time, I talk about that there's 5 buckets of wellness. And what Tenesha's talking about is there's so many different ways we need to bring that together. And those 5 buckets are your emotional wellness, your mental wellness, your physical wellness, your spiritual wellness, and your energetic wellness. And you can see where, even in the work that I do, which is more in that the mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic, Tenesha's dealing more with the emotional, mental, physical, energetic. There's overlap in terms of what we need to be whole. And so I love that phrasing, holistic healing, holistic wellness, holistic approach to figuring out what's fundamentally causing you not to be able to play at your highest and best level. Because as a leader, if you truly embrace the idea that leadership is a function of how you choose to show up, hear me say that again, choose to show up, how you choose to serve others, and how you choose to take personal responsibility inside those 2 spaces, you as a leader have a deep moral obligation and responsibility to make sure your cups are full first. And your wellness cups, those 5 cups need to be, all 5 of them need to be full or overflowing if you are ever going to be at a place where you are fully holistically healed to do the work that we're talking about, that you're being charged to do. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant and so passionate about bringing you here to have this conversation, because the more you and I have just been playing in the space, and we're coming up with all kinds of ideas and things, it's like, oh my God, I need to make sure my people know that this is available to them. I need to know that they know that there's the other side of that equation to balance out all the other work that they're doing, from a neuro-linguistic programming, a conditioning, a belief, emotionality. And there's more of the cellular, energetic, physiological aspects of what we need to be approaching as well. And those 2 things need to be married and blended for people to actually be able to be the leaders that they are designed to be.
Absolutely. I hear women all the time say, well, I want to go start my own business, or I want to apply for that next position, that next level. I want to level up, but I'm just so tired. I can't even put my resume together, or I can't even think about starting a business. I just don't even have the mental, physical energy, and that's exactly where you're right. That cup has to be full for you to live and play full out.
Awesome. So here is my charge and invitation to everyone listening right now. I'm going to ask you a really big question. Are you tired of being tired? Are you tired of feeling so exhausted and feeling like no matter how many plates you're spinning, there's 50 to 100 to 1,000 more that keep getting put on your plate? Are you tired of being the one that has to be superwoman only to go back and like lose your shit later because you're just like, I'm tired. If you are truly tired of being tired, then I am literally urging you on every level to reach out to Dr. Tenesha and check out the energy recovery system. It's an amazing program. It is a start to help you on the path for healing, to reclaim one of the most powerful things in your toolbox, which is your energy. And so, Dr. Tenesha, how can people learn more about this program? How can they access more information?
Yeah, so the website is energy-recovery-system.com. And if they're local to Austin, they can find me at austinholisticdoctordr.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will have those links for all of you. Inside of all this, I'll make sure that I caption that on the video. Please, please, please go check that out. This is your opportunity to invest in yourself, to create the healing you need to restore your energy, to reclaim your energy. It's like time. It's one of those things you know, once it's gone, we've lost that piece of it and you've lost that opportunity. I don't want you to continue to walk into your life like you're half asleep and you're exhausted and you're tired or you're burnt out. Don't wait till something massive happens like it did for Tenesha and I. I want you to take the opportunity now before you fall off the cliff.
Absolutely. We dig in, we run tests all again privately. We're not going through traditional medical routes. We dig in, find out what's wrong, correct it, move you forward.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for your passion.
I adore you. You know that. I love you with my whole heart. Closing out, my eyes are watering again. Ooh, I'm emotional today. That's okay.
Gotcha.
Emotion is a beautiful thing. Is there any last nugget or food for thought that you'd like to leave this audience with before we close out today?
You know, I would just say that remember, your body is designed to heal. It is designed to rebuild. It is a self-healing mechanism. We just need to find out what it has too much of and take it away, what it's lacking and bring it back to it, give it to it, and your body can heal. So if you are feeling hopeless, you've been a traditional medical route, you've been told it's all in your head, or take this, take that, and they're just covering up symptoms, listen to your body. What do you need? Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Just like everything that we've talked about, it starts with you. You have all of the tools, resources you need. It's just a matter of tapping into the ones that are for you in this moment. And to Dr. Tenesha's point, you are a self-healing mechanism. You are a body who knows how to regenerate itself. And so give yourself that opportunity. And as always, it starts with you saying yes to yourself, destroying the noise that's getting in the way, and knowing that leadership is a choice. I hope you will choose you first so that you can step up and be the leader you were destined to be. With that, everyone, thank you so much for continuing this journey with us. Thank you, Dr. Tenesha, for being here today and sharing your beautiful light, your gifts, and your message. Please, everyone, check out the work that she's doing. I know 1,000% this can impact and change your life. With that, everybody, I'm sending out huge heart-to-heart hugs. I love you, and we will continue soon.
Thank you. It was an honor. Thank you.
Yay.